Hi everyone, my name is Vivek Sai, and I'm here to present to you what I have built with regards to the Universal Commerce Protocol from Google. So yeah, if you have seen my most recent LinkedIn post, I was mentioning about the update from Google on the Universal Commerce Protocol, where they have kind of made it more compatible and more easier for e-commerce developers to use the Google Merchant Center to build custom solutions on top of it, on basis of the Universal Commerce Protocol framework. And I did share that I have been playing around it. I've been someone who has followed the UCP from the time it was launched in Jan. I've been obviously writing about it. If you notice my LinkedIn profile, I've been writing about how the it's so powerful, the Google's complete e-commerce or commerce stack, and this particular framework itself is such a powerful offering. So here I am to present what's been built. And one of the underlying ideas behind building this was that with the adoption of AI, there's a lot of functionalities which are getting automated, not just in e-commerce, but in every function. I'm working on the core product which I'm focused on, which is around solving that particular problem. How can human resource or human capital be, leveraged, and how it can stay relevant in this automation era? So the same thing applies to the e-commerce world, that once most of these legacy platforms have already become kind of automated, and they're heading towards complete automation, and the new products which are in the wave of AI native story are also kind of directed towards the end-to-end automation factor. What happens to the e-commerce developers? What happens to the knowledge workers who have specialized in a platform, and they lived on it for the bread and butter? And I do sense that there'll be people who will get evolved into some other roles, and there are certain areas where they can play. But the most important factor is what they were doing as part of the services are kind of becoming redundant. So the idea is, how can they become the agentic commerce orchestrators, considering the fact that the e-commerce is moving in that direction? How do they stay relevant? And that's the idea behind my build. Though if I build or don't build, the Universal Commerce Protocol exists, and the Google's entire commerce stack, which is kind of open out there as an open source product, is still available. But the point is, like, it's a massive, complex stack with multiple factors which needs to be interlinked well with some logic to it, so that many of the e-commerce factors can be taken care of. And that's what Goofre aims to do. So yeah, that's basically me introducing to you Goofre, which is the name of the product I have built. It's an open source solution, and what it does is it helps merchants and developers to become agentic commerce ready. And how it does is, because based on it's based on the Universal Commerce Protocol, and it helps developers to become compliant to the Universal Commerce Protocol and apply it easily. Even if not, they can, but this makes like a smooth layer, like a layer of butter, which can make the data flow much more easily, and the need for lot of manual development, redundant. So let's move on to straight to what it does. So it acts as a layer, right, for automating many of the functionalities which otherwise developers might have to build. So developers can just fork the the Goofre OS, and they can build on top of it custom solutions. And this will help them to, in one click, fetch data from Google Merchant Center, Google Analytics, or Google Business Profile, or even Google Search Console for the end business they are managing. And without any manual work, it gets everything ready for the agentic commerce. So all the SKUs, all the data becomes ready, and it goes one step beyond it. And it also helps you to sync data from legacy e-commerce platforms, and it takes care of the fact that it doesn't allow to override the GTIN number and other things which should not happen. As in, like, no data is overread on the GMC, and GMC becomes the source of truth. So that's what is the UCP framework is trying to do, is trying to make the Google Merchant Center the source of truth, and this makes it much more easier. And moreover, it has a layer of intelligence to it. It doesn't just integrate, it's already all of Google's commerce stack obviously is interconnected, but it acts as a layer of intelligence to proactively take actions and help you to make all the data ready for GMC and the agents to read. It makes the data much more compliant for the UCP protocol. So this is like a high level walkthrough. Please read through the documents. I have created a kind of, you can call this like a white paper on the idea behind it. And if you move over to the library under the site, you will also be able to, if you're someone who's very new to the Universal Commerce Protocol and the Agentic Commerce story, you can walk through these modules to learn what is it and why is it relevant. And this is like a module for onboarding yourself onto it. You can know the basics of Goofre and why is it relevant and what kind of help it can you can leverage from it. You can obviously build over it. You are the orchestrator, so you can basically co-build on top of it and make yourself even more powerful. So that's basically the story behind the product. I'll put the repo out there, and the website is out there to read the technical document. And the repo also has a very structured README doc, which explains the story, the framework, and how it functions. I would look forward for some critical feedback either ways. And as I said, I'm open for the Reddit kind of roasting, because if I was someone with like a 2 decade of experience in engineering, and if I had built something, I would have felt really paranoid to put this across, that what the world think about it. But I'm a vibe coder, so I have no shame in throwing it out there and getting roasted. So welcome to the club.